yields back. I now recognize the gentleman from Oklahoma, Ms. Brecheen, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To our witnesses, thank you. As typical in Washington, some of us having to shift in and shift out because of scheduling conflicts. I am certain, because I heard some of the commentaries I walked in, some of what we're going to be discussing on my part is a little bit redundant. Please forgive me because I did miss some of the prior discussion. Relative to CISA and the weaponization that many felt like through the social component, social media, I just want to make this as just a statement. This is kind of a rhetorical statement. That is something of major concern to us, that under this administration we continue to pay attention to that and make sure that our government is not allowing that to continue that we saw in years past. That said, and moving on, for TSA and for the oversight we're conducting with the World Cup, with the Olympics, I know, Director McNeil, that you are very much attuned to what's ahead, the high volume, the international traffic. Look, the heightened threat level, the landscape that we had in this hearing months ago because of the illegal population that was let in by the prior administration, there is a different threat landscape. And whether it be the biometric security screening, real ID enforcement, the gaps in that, it's been astounding to me to find out the number of states that are allowing real ID compliant driver's license. I've had some state elected officials show me how that is in the past played out to where by the way the prior administration was implementing parole and the work permitting process, that real ID compliant driver's licenses were being handed to those who were here illegally. And so to be able to, and by your response, I'm taking it for granted that you may have not heard this before, but that's something I would very much like some feedback for our office to obtain where we're at on ensuring that with Real ID coming into compliance this year and all the objections, and I was one of them on the state level, that if we have that type of possibility of illegal aliens getting a Real ID compliant driver's license, what a major security concern that is. All right, I want to shift over. I know you've talked about the Somalian incident, the cash. You've talked about, in terms of what you all are doing. My question on that is, when were you all as an agency made aware that this was happening? What was the timeline of the millions of dollars that flowing through the airport security system? What timing did you all become aware of this?
I believe that the reporting started back in 2017.
2017. Okay. Okay. With the World Cup, with the Olympics, I'm about to say something that I'm going to make sure my words are precise and give you a chance to kind of think this thing through, because there's an element to this just for national security purposes. The DHS Inspector General released a report on November 1st, 2025 on its independent covert testing of TSA checkpoint screening to see how effective it is at preventing threat items from being brought onto commercial aircraft. We cannot publicly talk about the contents of that report due to the sensitivity of the information. But let me ask you generally, are you aware of the report? Have you read it? When did you receive it?
Yes. Yes to both of your first questions and last November.
Okay. And do you agree with the findings and recommendations of that report?
And I do, and it's not anything that actually we didn't know already and fully consider in our security policies.
Would you commit to providing this committee with results of any follow-up analysis conducted by TSA related to this report?
We would be glad to have a briefing on this topic in the proper classified environment.
Thank you. Transition to another little different direction here. Many travelers are confused by TSA's facial screening practices. Can you please clarify whether this is mandatory or optional?
It is absolutely voluntary. We have signage at our checkpoints that notify the passengers of that, and if they don't opt in, there are alternate procedures that they go through, so it is 100% voluntary.
And with the 25 seconds that I have left, what would you say to travelers who are concerned about their biometric data being retained as a result of that process?
I would say that we don't retain the data that is captured at the checkpoint. It's solely for the purpose of identification at that point in time as they traverse through the checkpoint.
Thank you very much. Thank you, panel. I yield, Mr. Chairman.